sounded like they grew up in village environments, you know. Really,
but that's what happens
really
when
brilliant.
you understand your heritage and you make a conscious effort to tap into it. To the point where they're studying it at the university level. And that's what we need. We need more people to bring the academic side of things so that we can develop it for modern times and then take it to the next level. And
speaking of that,
exactly, technology is a big part of that. And we have one of my favorite people in the whole world. I don't know if she knows how much I love her. The Hannah Kwanzaa.
Yeah, HQ.
Yes, HQ. Headquarters.
Yeah.
How about Blue Q?
You're welcome.
Thank you. I keep getting new names every day.
I know.
All right, so you know, the whole tech thing and indigenous music, Ghanaian music. Take us into that conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we get there, it's necessary that we look at the music, how far it has come from our forefathers up until now.
Yeah. We're talking about our indigenous Ghanaian music.
Yes, and up until the time, what has been the technology like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So you look at the traditional music. Back then, I'm not sure they had like mixers and all those things. So I think my grandfather was telling me once that they played live. So I'm thinking that's where the name live band came from.
Okay.
There wasn't any machine or any tool for recording anything. If you want to see the artist, you have to be at where the artist is. They play it into your ears, and then you're done and you're gone home. So after we saw like the Gold Coast era, then we saw some bands also coming up. Then moving into the mid-20s where we are now seeing like Ghanaian bands, dance bands, guitar bands were now coming in because we had the whites here.
Influence,
and then
they had the 1920s.
Yes.
And this is just maybe about 25 years into colonization in the Gold Coast.
So they had like the electric guitars. So we saw that our local music that usually we had the fronton from, the flutes, the percussion in them, they were being mixed with other things. So according to my grandfather again, he says most artists back in the day moved abroad. They went on their own like separate paths. And when they were coming back, he said there was a show, they had to bring like a lot of black artists like Tina Turner and a whole lot of people, they came to play.
Yeah, that was so
and it was huge, back in the day, you know.
Soul Train.
I know.
And then it came to like our time. We saw, okay, there are other bands coming in. Then you can look at most of the artists that like the Ambulance and the rest that you could appreciate them for their talent. Down to Uncle Reggie bringing in hip life, and now we have the Afrobeat, the Azonto coming in. Now, how were they producing this music back then? It was live. Then now we came to the very mixers, not the digital ones, no? The one that's, I think those times the producers were suffering because they have to physically move things. And even if your voice was bad, they have to struggle to press some knobs so that you can sound okay. Now we've seen electrical mixers, ones that are being like manned by tablets, handheld devices where the sound, so even if you don't have the best of voices, I mean, you enter a Hammer studio or a Kewa studio, you come up like everybody will say, wow, until they put you on the live stage, then you realize
that's problem
that there's somebody being a power behind your performance. And it's moved having to now have certain applications that you can produce your own music. For upcoming artists, these are the tools that they have to even drive on with, because not everybody can afford to have a master record. So it comes to how were the people consuming the music back then. Aside the live, I knew my father had a gramophone.
Okay.
So they put it there, and then they had the records, what we call our power. Very big CD.
My
they were heavy.
parents have a whole collection.
I know.
Of vinyl.
Okay.
A whole collection, and from High Life, and even when we were living in the States when I was very young, they had High Life records, which are the Ghanaian parties were in our house. You know, and they have records, Motown records, originals. You know.
No, vinyl was one amazing thing. I mean, unfortunately, we lost a lot of hours. The transition between when we left to Malawi, we couldn't carry everything with us, right? So you leave it with people, and then after 20 years, it's like it's, you know,
because they don't see the
nobody's
value.
cared for it.
Exactly.
So,
Then we saw the big portable players the one that has side A, side B. My father
Yeah.
had one of those. You know, it was the biggest.
The ghetto blaster.
Yeah,
you carry
I know.
them on your shoulder.
On your shoulder, it has to be mounted because it's heavy.
Yeah.
And we had the CDs for it, the cassettes for it.
Yeah.
Then we saw portable cassette players.
Yeah.
Sony was the
Some
guy
people
in the
watching
business.
don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I know.
There, the screen.
Yes,
Yes,
the Walkman.
this
the
was
famous
a Walkman.
Sony
Yes.
Walkman.
Yes.
Brilliant.
I had one and
Yeah.
Sony must have made a fortune with this.
yes,
know, right?
yes.
Yeah.
So it didn't take long.
You
They
can actually
moved-
walk with your music.
exactly,
Can you
and it was
imagine?
like the ish.
And
You
you
don't
didn't
have to carry.
use your pen or your pencil to rewind.
Yeah.
I had
There was
a
a
big
button. You
or
press
a
it and it
Reynolds.
rewinds
I
it.
know. I had a big or a Reynolds. You just put it like that, it goes back to the beginning.
Oh,
No
Lord.
tap and go.
We have
anywhere.
come far.
I
We have,
know.
you know.
Then it moved on from there, having
Yeah.
to have the CD, the DVD one.
Yes. Yeah.
And I remember we were buying toothpaste that we could put it on it if you have scratches.
Yeah, then could try
And-
clean the
yeah,
scratch so that
because once there's a
it can
scratch-
play well.
It will just be looping. You think
Yeah,
it's
then
DJ.
you have the-
It's a DJ effect. It's
Yeah.
not. It's just a scratch. Then we came to see the iPods and the MP3s. They were
Yeah.
tinier.
Yeah.
So you go to your friend's house. Oh, Charlie, train your mommy, you
Yeah.
know. And it was the ish. If you don't
There
have,
was the Apple Shuffle,
Yes.
which was like a pen drive, a big pen drive.
Exactly.
So when your parents didn't want to buy you an iPod,
Yeah, then you could go for
then
the
they'll give you a
shuffle,
shuffle.
yeah.
Because that one is not as expensive. You
Yeah,
can take care of
yeah.
it.
Then you
know,
manage,
and
yes.
these ones even came a little later.
little
There were
later.
bigger
Yeah.
ones.
So
Yeah.
this is what we are managing then. And now we've come away from that. We're
Yeah.
having mobile phones with music apps.
You know, I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it when Apple said they are no longer producing iPods.
I know, it was the
in my
end
mind,
of
I was
an
like,
era.
are you serious? What's going on here?
It's the end of
Then you
life.
realize
Yes.
that instead of having the whole gadget,
Yeah.
they converted everything into an app on your phone.
Exactly.
And then you're good to
you
go.
don't
Merge
need
everything because I
Yeah.
mean at the time we were still doing the iPods and you think of the iPhone, first
Yes.
generation iPhone,
Yes.
you still weren't necessarily pushed to go and buy an iPhone.
No.
Because a lot of the things you're doing with your phone at that age is listening to music
Yeah.
or
Music.
playing games. You don't necessarily need
Even games we have.
yeah, your handhelds
Brick
were still a
Master,
thing. Yeah,
those
it wasn't
ones.
really a big deal
Yeah.
to have a phone that had everything. So I think
Exactly.
Apple made a bold move when they merged everything.
Yeah.
You know, and
But it's a bit funny when it comes to like Ghana in terms of streaming apps, because the moment we've gone digital, most of these things are no more on your phone. They are now, everything is cloud based.
yeah.
So we have like several streaming apps like Spotify, Apple Music, a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
These are Boomplay and the rest. But in Ghana, it's quite sad that our local artists are not on these platforms. Spotify has been in Ghana for a year, and their statistics, they've seen 22.8% increase compared to last year.
Okay.
They've
That's
been a
okay.
year
So,
Like
so
exactly.
it's
just
growing,
came in.
but it's
It's
slow.
growing, but then the reaction, you know, the hurry up and wait syndrome of Ghanaians.
Yeah.
You hurry up and then you wait.
Yeah.
So, so it's not really helping in terms of trying to export our music to a different
Could
market.
it have anything to do with, I mean, in terms of Ghanaian reception, the prices of data and streaming? Because, I mean, we have people who struggle with even call credits, you know. Now you're going to take up a huge chunk of your data and use that to stream music. I think it's difficult for people.
Yeah, it is. That's how come in their statistics they brought that the usage are actually Ghanaians who are living abroad. They are streaming these things.
Okay.
And you have all these small boys who just came up in the stream, Y'all Talk Them, having their albums on this Kiddy, Kwame Eugene and the
Okay.
rest. They are in new
On the
school.
platform,
They
yeah.
are jumping
That
onto
also
it.
explains why they are tapping into foreign markets very
They are
quickly.
doing shows.
Yeah.
And you can't
Selling
blame
out
them.
the O2.
I know.
Yeah.
And you can't blame them for this because they've taken advantage of these platforms that are there. And one thing that we've seen in the local market is just music. They are not being transcribed. I always say that for the next generation to come to know what we're doing, a legacy has to be left.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to do the job. I say this all the time, that if you refuse to write your history, somebody else will write it for you, and you wouldn't like their version so
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
So
I
it's
agree with
important
you.
that we keep some of these records and everything there.
yeah.
Because when it comes to music learning apps, there's Shazam, the SoundHound, a whole lot
Yeah.
that you could just go, if you hear music, you just, Shazam it, and then you have the
You know
lyrics.
all the details and
Try
the
it with
lyrics,
our
yeah.
local songs.
Yeah.
You won't find it. And the song is nice. I have Nigerian friends, a whole lot of friends who are non-Ghanaians. And if they want to listen to Ghanaian music, I have to take them to +233.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because that's
the
where they
live
do
bands.
for live bands, so that they could feel it. They'll ask, okay, I like this very one. Can I buy it on iTunes? Is it
But
on
it's not
YouTube
there.
Music? Is it on Deezer? Then I can't explain. So the lyrics are not there. We are in Ghana and we are singing South African songs, and they transcribe every single one
All
of
the
them.
lyrics.
So once they are singing Wahambanati, you see the lyrics there, and they are telling you what it means.
Yeah.
So we are jamming to music in this part of Ghana. We don't know what it means, but they are telling us what it means.
Yeah.
We can't do the same.
Exactly.
Some new artists are doing it. I was in the East somewhere last year, and I was surprised to hear Jackie. She's called Jackie, right?
Yeah.
The music, my mind
Yes.
did for it. And it was playing not in a mall. So I had to tweet that and like, wait, people in East Africa know your song.
Yeah.
Like East Africa is nowhere close to Ghana.
Oh, but East Africa, they listen to a lot of Ghanaian music.
Yeah, but I also think that the influence of social media space, where you have TikTok and Snapchat and all that, has actually pushed this, you know,
Exactly.
to the fore.
Exactly.
That's why people like Kiddy, for example, with Touch It. You know, it's everywhere. He
It's
goes to a
trending.
country and people know the song as much as Ghanaians know the song.
Exactly.
You know,
It's the social media. And some people feel, oh, I'm too old for this trend. I'm an artist. They bring the song and then they set up a challenge.
Yeah.
And the hashtag is trending.
Yeah.
Some people don't need to understand. We were in Ghana when this challenge came. With some funny, I think it was from Uganda, you just fall on the ground. People were just falling.
Follow the guy, yeah.
And it was in offices, in banks,
You
and
don't
the
need to
rest.
understand the thing, just
falling. So it was on these hashtags they were promoting. So I feel the managers to these artists need to put in more.
Yeah.
They need to embrace the technology we brought.
Yeah.
It can't be like then. Of course, I miss those days when I had Walkman because I was the only happening lady on the street. But
You're the cool cat.
now we've changed. So they need to look at it and accept it.
Yeah.
Learn it.
Fantastic.
Your first TikTok won't be nice, but trust me, the 10th
It
one
will
will
get
be
better.
hit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
This
you.
nice walk through the history.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people want to get in touch with you. How do they get in touch with you?
You can tweet at me at AmaBlueQ.
That's
Ama
right.
Blue